From terrifying animatronics discovered after decades to how these stones got handprints, these stories prove the power of time, with each one crazier than the last. Let's get the ball rolling with a Power of Time series classic. If we've learned anything on this series so far, it's that there are few things that showcase time's magic effects quite as noticeably as trees. And in this episode, we're going to check out some of the most extreme specimens yet. In the last episode, we explored some fascinating cases of ediphoecotropism, in which trees grow around and sometimes swallow objects in their path. But this example, spotted along a hiking trail in Wisconsin, takes things to a whole new level. Here, a tree's expanding trunk hasn't just engulfed the public notice, it seems to have somehow absorbed the sign's paint as well. At first glance, it looks like the tree has somehow torn the paint from the sign itself, but that's not exactly what's happening. Many signs like this are coated in a super thin vinyl wrap rather than traditional paint, giving them a bright, durable finish. Over time, as the edges of the vinyl start to peel and lift, it's allowed the tree to slowly creep underneath the layer to create this illusion-worthy result. But hey, you can't exactly call it vandalism. It's just a tree branching out into the art of public service announcements. Our next jaw-dropping example of ediphoecotropism was sent in by viewer Carl and his son, who spotted this metal pipe wedged between two oak trees in their local park. Carl told me he regularly sees guys using the bar to do pull-ups, and it's possible the pipe was deliberately placed there for this purpose in the first place. But whoever put the pipe up there probably didn't realize that the trees would then start using it to expand their real estate.
Yeah, boy.
We can already see the trees beginning their journey across the pipe, and in time, these oaks could keep expanding along it until they fully envelop it, eventually linking together. Now that's what I call a natural and enduring connection. Huge thanks to Carl for the awesome find, and if you've come across any mind-blowing examples of the immeasurable power of time, don't be shy. Send them on over to stories@beamazed.com for the chance to get your own shout-out in a future episode. Up next, this tree may look like one of the magical Ents from Middle-earth about to go for a walk, but the reality behind its fantastical appearance is all thanks to the magic of natural erosion. Over time, water has slowly stripped away the surrounding sand and soil, leaving the roots exposed but still intact. Tree roots are surprisingly strong, stretching deep and wide to support even the largest trees, and even with much of their soil gone, they can still stand tall. At least for a little while. Trees with exposed roots are susceptible to damage and decay, so while right now with enough of its roots still anchored this tree can keep defying gravity, eventually nature will probably call time on this balancing act. The act of passing heirlooms has long been a symbol of family legacy, but in some cases they do more than just connect us with our ancestors, they show them to us too. This pocket watch passed down through generations hasn't just ticked through time, it's captured and preserved it. The original owner placed a family photo inside, and as years passed, the image slowly imprinted onto the watch, leaving its mark even with the photo now removed. It's easier to see with this negative filter. Pretty cool, right? Through the gradual transfer of photograph ink onto the surface it was resting against for many years, it left behind a ghostly snapshot of ancestors gone by. Speaking of the people of our past, while it might look like these hands have scooped into the stone as if they were made of silly putty, the hands you see here aren't the same hands that created the deep prints in the first place. In fact, the hands responsible belong to people who lived anywhere between 200 and 1,000 years ago. These are just a few of the hundreds of ancestral petroglyphs scattered across the sandstone cliffs of the mysterious White Mountain Petroglyph site in Wyoming's Red Desert. Most petroglyphs are created by cutting, picking, or scraping away parts of a rock's surface and can tell us a lot about the culture and beliefs of the people who made them. These petroglyphs at White Mountain were likely carved by the Native American tribes of the Great Basin and Plains who inhabited the area for hundreds of years. Some glyphs depict bison or elk hunts, but these seemingly scooped handprints remain an enduring mystery. Obviously, the earth isn't made of pudding, yet the handprint marks don't exhibit telltale signs of being carved out by tools. So how are they made? Well, no one knows for sure, but one particularly intriguing local legend offers a remarkable explanation. In native traditions, the White Mountains are considered sacred birthing ground where pregnant tribeswomen would journey when ready to give birth. It's believed the prints are actually handholds formed as generations of mothers grip the same spots during labor, slowly wearing the impressions deeper into the rock over time. Despite the theories, modern science has yet to study these petroglyphs in detail, leaving this officially unconfirmed. But if we know anything based on this video series, it's that the passing of time does make incredible things like this possible. Plus, sandstone is one of the softer rocks on the planet. But what do you think about how these handprints were created? Share your theories in the comments below. And now, let's get on with the video. As the White Mountain petroglyphs have shown, even the distant past can feel within touching distance. But as our next example of time alteration shows, it can even be right there inside our fingertips too. And for a somewhat unnerving reason. The surface of these thumbnails look a lot like tree rings, but their cause isn't exactly natural. These deep grooves are known as Bow's lines, a common side effect of time spent undergoing chemotherapy treatment. Since cancer cells grow quickly, chemotherapy medicines target fast-growing cells, but that can also include healthy ones like hair and nails. So as the radiation-emitting compounds pass throughout the patient's body, carried through blood vessels, their effects take place all over, damaging cells and, for example, reducing nail growth. Fingernails grow about 3.5 millimeters per month, and in this case, the ridges may serve as a timeline of treatment. 6 ridges for 6 sessions of treatment. Let's hope the treatment was a success and this person was allowed a little more time on Earth with their loved ones. Our next trip down memory lane, sent in by viewer Melissa, takes us into not only the power of time, but also the sorcery of movie magic. In 1997, employees at an unclaimed baggage center in Scottsboro, Alabama were sorting through lost luggage. Expecting just another forgotten suitcase, they unzipped the next one and were greeted with this. Looking more closely, the team realized they'd uncovered a decrepit yet oddly familiar-looking animatronic creature whose original appearance had been lost to time. But in a stroke of luck, one employee suddenly realized why it looked so familiar. It was an old movie prop from a cult classic released more than 10 years earlier, the 1986 movie Labyrinth. But how on earth did it end up in this state? Well, the story is pretty awesome. Labyrinth follows teenager Sarah, who embarks on a quest to rescue her baby brother from the clutches of the Goblin King, played by David Bowie, and his, distractingly tight pants. Along the way, Sarah encounters an oddball cast of creatures, including Hoggle, a gruff yet loyal dwarf who becomes her reluctant guide through the labyrinth. But behind the scenes, Hoggle wasn't just an actor in costume. His head was a complex animatronic puppet. While an actress handled the body movements, the mask was packed with 18 motors, bringing his expressions to life through radio controls operated remotely by 4 puppeteers. But how did this beloved character end up like this? Well, most of Labyrinth was filmed at Elstree Studios in the UK, and when filming wrapped in December 1985, Hoggle and other puppets were flown back to Jim Henson's Creature Workshop in the US. At some point, however, the suitcase carrying Hoggle inexplicably vanished. But with production fully wrapped up and the movie underperforming at the box office, the studio likely chalked it up as an insurance loss and moved on. Fast forward to 1997, the movie had already experienced a resurgence in fandom, so the unclaimed baggage center knew they'd hit on an iconic piece of movie memorabilia, Hoggle himself. After 11 years trapped in a suitcase, Hoggle's latex skin had rotted away, and let's just say in this stripped-back state, he could give the Five Nights at Freddy's crew a serious run for their money. In the end, Hoggle was sent to a specialist doll doctor to be restored to his big screen glory, and the Jim Henson Company allowed the unclaimed baggage center in Scottsboro to keep the puppet, who remains there on display to this day. Pretty amazing, right? Thanks again, Melissa, for sending me down this rabbit hole. Fascinating stuff. We all know that growing up brings plenty of unexpected and often unwelcome changes, but one of the biggest transformations can often happen right under our noses. The slow and steady wear and tear of the beloved companions that saw us through childhood. The owner of this well-loved pup had kept him for over 14 years before stumbling upon a nearly identical brand new version in a second-hand shop. But that's nothing compared to the drastic transformation of this childhood relic, who after 33 years of nightly cuddles is barely recognizable next to its squeaky clean counterpart. Wow, did its owner live up a chimney? I can't decide whether that's cute or gross, but at least we can be sure it's the result of years of love and companionship. This abandoned Elmo toy, however, wasn't as fortunate. Left behind to face the elements alone, the only thing set on cuddling this Elmo for the rest of time is a thick layer of moss. It looks like Elmo's naturally evolving into Kermit, and admittedly, a frog would be more at home in the forest. Unlike most plants, moss doesn't have roots to anchor it into the ground, and instead it spreads as a hair-like mat of threads reproducing through spores. These unique properties allow it to thrive on almost any surface if left in damp, shady areas outdoors, from lost toys to soft furnishings and even the insides of bike seats. Moving from natural mossing to a bizarre kind of flossing, the noticeable gap in this person's teeth isn't just a coincidence. It's the result of a specific and surprisingly common habit. Known as tailor's notches, these distinctive grooves form from frequently holding sewing needles or pens between the teeth while cutting or adjusting fabric. This phenomenon has been observed throughout history, with anthropologists even identifying it in ancient human remains. It's believed that this type of dental wear dates back as far as 5,000 years to the early days of spinning yarn, and provides a surprisingly useful insight into the lifestyles of ancient humans. But personally, the thought of metal scraping against my teeth is enough to make me shudder. Ugh. I think I'll stick to keyboard warrioring instead. Speaking of keyboards, most of us spend plenty of time tapping away online, but some take it to a whole new level and their keyboards tell the story. The worn-down WASD keys on these keyboards turned finger craters are a dead giveaway of years of intense gaming sessions. While these keys are standard in most games, other well-worn keys can hint at exactly what game a player has sunk countless hours into. Take this 5-year-old keyboard for example. The fading WASD keys are expected, but the additional wear on the Shift and Q keys suggest a more specific gaming pattern. For those able to identify a Shift key as sprint and Q as quick weapon switch, you might have already guessed that this keyboard owner loves Counter-Strike Global Offensive. More uneven surfaces now, and this time it's back to another commonly seen example in our Power of Time series: stairs. These steps hold the history of a century's worth of comings and goings in this old family home in northern England. Built over 100 years ago during the height of the region's textile mill industry, the house, which was likely once a place of work, stands in one of the many mill towns that once thrived here. The stairs themselves once led down to stables, which in time before ultra-widespread use of cars featured horses as a daily part of life. Then there's this set of stairs, which tells a story with a distinct sense of direction. The worn path veers almost entirely to the left, revealing the retrodden footsteps accumulated over the years. The right side of the room really got no love at all, huh? While stairs naturally wear down from years of foot traffic, other often overlooked parts of a staircase can also take us for a walk through history. Take this banister, for example, that showcases over 110 years of countless hands gripping and guiding their way over its top. Similarly, this set of stairs, built in 1886, reveals how the banister and handrail have faded over time, their once dark wooden stain now faded to a lighter brown from 140 years of daily touch. In a more extreme example, this ancestral home includes a unique imprint of family history in the severely worn wooden rail, revealing what must have been generations of family members making their way up and down the staircase. I guess even the way we navigate stairs can run in the family. More family history now, and this time, we're in the kitchen. At first glance, this fork may seem ordinary, but look closer. Each prong has been worn down from generations of use beating eggs for 4 whole generations of the same family. From forks to spoons, this one has been one grandmother's secret ingredient to delicious home-cooked meals for over 60 years. It would have once looked something like this flawless enamel-coated spoon, but decades of heat, scraping, and washing have worn away its enamel coating, slowly revealing the layers beneath. But that's nothing compared to this. This wooden spoon has been stirring over 40 years worth of Italian cooking to get into this near unrecognizable state. I bet that spoon's seen some flavor.
Nice.
Speaking of Italian cuisine, check out this well-loved pizza stone etched with hundreds of cutting paths for countless slices of good old za. Is anyone else getting hungry for some comfort food? Just like a well-worn cooking utensil can tell a story of home comfort meals, even floors and furniture in public places can carry the weight of foodie history. These deeply indented footprints don't only reveal the passage of time, but also the best seats in the house, worn in by years of customers' feet settling in at this diner. Other diners, meanwhile, tell the tale of time by their countertops, like this well-worn counter at Chet's Diner in Massachusetts, which shows off years of sliding plates and resting arms. I wonder how many pancakes have been consumed here. Going by the fact that even the metal bar of the footrest has had several large holes worn into it by customers' feet, I'm going to go with a lot of pancakes. After a tasty snack at the diner, how about we relax with a book or two? This bookworm's favorite installments of the Aragon series are clearly visible on each book, from the well-loved opening novel to the barely touched conclusion. And then we've got these two identical Bibles that were owned by a father and son since 1975, where it's clear to see who's been skipping out on church scripture studies. While you might expect the father's Bible to be the more well-worn, it's actually the son's, proof that he spent more time with his heavenly father than his earthly one has. Then over here we've got a set of identical logbooks, one used for 2 years and one brand new. After years of dedicated noting, the old logbook has gained both wisdom and width. Years of spine-stretching, page creasing, and absorbing moisture from the air has caused the paper to expand, turning the book into the heavyweight champ of note-taking. Now let's turn our attention to a different kind of timely transformation etched not in paper, but in metal. The corrosion on this faucet has unveiled a mesmerizing mural of what appears to be a map etched in metal, complete with winding roads, longitude and latitude lines, and tiny marks that could almost be labels or even trees. But before you grab a compass and set off on an adventure, the true culprit behind this mysterious design appears to be what's known as filiform corrosion. This sneaky form of decay occurs when water sneaks beneath a metal's protective coating and gradually reacts, allowing delicate thread-like trails to spread across the surface like little wandering worms over time. Then again, who's to say it's not a magical map revealing itself to us? Anyone up for a quest to find out? Explorer Team applications are now open in the comments below. Some metal-on-metal time traveling now with a strangely romantic flair. Check out this office restroom door handle where years of wedding rings grazing the surface have worn away its metal coating. Till pee-pee do us part, I guess. And then there's this chrome dome of a door handle, its golden core exposed after years of thumbs grasping and twisting. Then again, not all doors show wear in the places you'd expect. Take this one. While the metal push pad remains largely intact, the surrounding painted wood is worn down instead, the yellow hue fading under countless hesitant hands. So why the detour? Well, if you've already put 2 and 2 together, congrats. But for those still scratching their heads, these markings are remnants of the COVID-19 era when people instinctively avoided frequently touched surfaces. Ironically though, they created their own in the process. Speaking of public bathrooms, check out this pair of doors to some male and female bathrooms. Usually it's the ladies' room with the longest line, but here, the wear pattern suggests it's the guys making a beeline instead. Why? Well, these bathrooms are in a sports bar, typically more of a hangout for the guys. But there's another interesting detail. Check out the wear marks on the doors. On the men's side, they're higher up, while on the women's, the most noticeable spot of wear sits a little lower. A subtle nod to the average height differences between men and women, captured in the everyday comings and goings of the bar's visitors. On the subject of sports, everyone remembers the beat-up basketballs from school gym class, but did you ever stop to really look at how much their appearance changed over the years? Take this set of Spalding basketballs. One is fresh out of the box, the other armed with 5 years of game time under its belt. Side by side, the difference is striking. The once deep grooves have softened, the bright orange has faded, and that textured grip worn smooth from countless dribbles, passes, and shots. Then there's this water polo ball that's worn down after 3 years of intense games, its markings fading away from the constant impact of the water. And for an even more extreme case of balls over time, this mound of lost tennis balls at a university's courts tells a story of not only games gone by, but lost points.
No!
Wedged between the barrier and the fence, this growing collection is a quiet reminder of past rallies and missed shots hanging in an eternal match point.
Donald Trump, please save me.
While it's often said that time flies, it can just as easily feel like it's standing still, especially when you're waiting. This bench in the New York City subway wears the smooth, worn-down markings of countless passengers who've taken a seat, watching the minutes crawl by until their train arrives. Noticing stuff like this really adds some interest to your daily commute because when you know how to keep an eye out for the power of time, even a bench can tell a story. Likewise, the ghostly shadows on the wall behind this bench in the London Underground hold the faded imprints of rush hours gone by. Or more accurately, a slightly unnerving insight into the amount of dust, grime, and dirt accumulated on city commuters' clothes and bodies left imprinted on the wall. Even trains themselves bear the marks of the commuters that use them. Check out this train seat where you can catch a glimpse of fabric from the seat's past design thanks to wear and tear. I can't tell which design is uglier. I wonder how many times this seat has been reupholstered, because if this keeps up, we might be looking at the train seat equivalent of a jawbreaker. But the signs of time aren't only on display on public transportation, they also appear in the everyday items we see during a day at the office. Returning to the office after a long time away usually just means catching up on emails and getting back into the swing of things. But sometimes the office itself has changed in small, unexpected ways. Take this two-tone batch of Post-it notes. After 15 months untouched, the top note faded into a soft teal, while the ones beneath remained their original vibrant green. Office fluorescent lights often emit certain types of ultraviolet rays that slowly break down dyes and paper, causing colors to shift over time, and this same effect can also be witnessed in objects left by windows. The top Post-it left to face the light alone took on the full effect, while the others stayed safely tucked away underneath. Gotta say, I think I prefer the Post-it with a suntan. Ever seen something that's aged in an interesting way? Snap a pic or video, send it to stories@beamazed.com with your name, and you might just make it into the next part of the series. With all that said, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.